Okay, good morning, class. Do you have, can you hear my audio? Good morning. Okay, thank you, Miss Dignos and Sir Venezuela. So, ayan, let's have our lesson so that we can begin. And kindly listen first kung may mga tanong kayo or any clarification. Reserve it at the end. I'll be asking you. So, sa dulo. But for the meantime, let's have our lesson.
Good day, class. For this topic of film screen imaging, we are going to tackle the different forms of radiographic artifacts. So it is quite important that we are able to distinguish them because they might interfere with the proper diagnosis ng procedure na ginagawa natin. So it is one of our duty na ma-identify them so that before it could reach our radiologist, makorek na yung problem brought by these radiographic artifacts. So by the way, let's define first what is an artifact. So artifacts are any extraneous images that obscure the desired information and come from a variety of causes. So, yung mga radiographic artifacts natin, they are extra images. So, pag sinabing extra, hindi talaga sila galing dun sa anatomical details ng pasyente. They are not helpful in ruling out the condition or yung pathology na gustong ma-identify. So, but instead, they will somehow interfere. So, pwede silang mag-cause na hindi makita yung pathology or yung certain anatomy under investigation, or they might result into improper impression na mabasahan ng maling sakit yung pasyente. So, kaya kailangan alam natin silang ma-identify, ma-spot at i-correct kung kailangang i-correct bago pa man sila makagawa ng potential danger to our patients due to wrong diagnosis. So example nga niyan, mga removable objects or in the patients such as hairpins, dentures, jewelry, casts, and orthopedic devices, objects in the patient's pocket, snaps, or hospital gowns, IV tubes, and respiratory equipment. So yung grupo na yan, yun yung mga foreign objects. So may mga categorization tayo ng radiographic artifacts sa later na pag-uusapan and pasok tong mga binigay na example sa mga foreign objects that are not literally within the patient na kapag na iwan silang nandoon sa exposure field, it might give an impression na merong foreign object or matter na pumasok sa katawan ni patient. And that's why we need to remove them or not technically pumasok but they might superimpose yung sakit. Halimbawa, may bukol, dun tumapat yung metallic object, so yung bukol hindi makikita or bali, so fracture. So kung yung object na yun natakpan yung fracture, so meron palang bali yung buto ng pasyente, hindi siya nakita dahil nga na superimpose nung artifact. Yan. So it is an irregularity on an image that is not caused by the proper shadowing of tissues. Yan nga, hindi talaga siya anatomical representation nung katawan ng pasyente na ini-image natin. It can be controlled when their cause is identified. So we can only correct them if we know where they originate. So tulad yan, yung binigay na example na foreign objects na hindi napatanggal during preparation. So uulitin natin at ipapatanggal na natin yon kung again ako natatanggal. Hindi porket may object na nakita tapos gusto mong ipatanggal, paano kung implant? So again, case-to-case basis kung siya ay napapatanggal pa. Pero not only foreign objects, marami pa tayong klase ng artifact as shown in this categorization. So broadly, pwede natin silang hatiin sa tatlong grupo. So we have the exposure, the processing artifacts, and the handling and storage artifacts. So yung mga nasa exposure artifacts, sila yung mga nangyayari during the exposure, yung ine-x-ray, yung lumabas na yung radiation, tumama sa katawan ni patient and form the image on the on our image receptor. So yung dahil na present sila on that particular moment, they casted a shadow or nag-form sila ng image pero hindi naman pala talaga sila uh, uh, parte ng anatomy na kinukunan, which could interfere nga sa visualization or can lead to improper diagnosis. Example niyan, yung mga motion artifacts, improper patient position, wrong screen film patch, I mean match, poor screen contact, double exposure, warp cassette, improper grid position, and later isa-isahin natin yung mga yan. So, next, yung mga processing artifacts naman. So, pag sinabi nating processing artifacts, ito yung mga artifacts na nangyari lang during nung ipinaprocess na sa chemicals yung ating film. So, prior to visualization of the image, bago siya lumabas doon sa film natin, it will undergo certain immersion to different chemicals pag dito sa film screen setup. So, pwedeng during those nung nilulubog siya sa mga chemicals from developer going to fixer to water to drying, meron pang mga possible na densities or unwanted images na lumabas dahil lang dun sa mga possible errors na mangyari. Yan. So, ang tawag natin doon processing artifact. Anong pinagkaiba niya sa exposure? Sa exposure, yung bago pa man i-process. So, habang ine-X-ray yung pasyente, present yung artifact. Pero sa processing, nasa dark room na tayo, ipinaprocess na natin yung film doon sa magpuproduce ng image. And lastly, yung grupo ng mga handling and storage artifact. Etong yung handling and storage artifact natin, ito naman yung galing sa maling paglo-load, unload or paghawak ng film, which is dun yung marirecord yung image natin, saka yung improper na condition para sa darkroom that could affect yung quality ng mga film na ginagamit natin or yung mga chemicals as well. Yan. So again, ito yung mga example ng processing, emulsion pick-up, gelatin build-up, curtain effect, chemical fog, gauge mark, pylines, wet pressure sensitization, and diachronic fog or dichroic fog in other terms. So, handling and storage, example naman, mga light fog, radiation fog, static kink marks, hypertension stain, and scratches. Okay, so isa-isahin natin sila ngayon. Simulan natin sa grupo ng exposure artifacts. So, these are associated with manner in which radiographer conducts the examination. So, habang pinuposisyon yung pasyente, nung ginagawa ng exposure, doon nagkaroon ng image yung unwanted na object or density. So we call them exposure artifacts. As laid down nga kanina, ito yung mga pwede niyang panggalingan, yung motion, yung maling position, wrong screen film match, poor screen contact, double exposure, warp cassette, improper grid position. And so yung hindi mo na instruct ng tama yung pasyente, bigla siyang gumalaw or some physiological motion nga na hindi mo na timingan during exposure, mali yung pagkakaposition, mali yung yung sensitivity ng film. So mali yung color spectral emission ng IS doon sa spectral sensitivity ng film natin. So yung blue sensitive na partner mo sa green emitting. So, masisira nun yung quality. So, for screen contact, pagka may warp na yung cassette, pwede rin to maging consequence na hindi na pala masyadong in contact yung X-ray film natin doon sa may sa ating sa may ating intensifying screen. And as we've discussed earlier sa mga naunang discussion, that might result into blaring. Yan. So, and then double exposure, dalawang beses na na-expose yung body part ng pasyente or nagamit yung film sa dalawang examination. Ang image nun, may dalawang image na magkapatong. And then warp cassette, possible na mag-cause yun sa light leakage, yan na makakasira dun sa proper density ng film natin, and yung proper grid position that laid down in your prior subjects were in the grids, yung hindi na follow yung tama niyang SID, yung kanyang tamang pagkakapwesto like nabaliktad, inverted grid. So excessive grid cut off yun na instead na matulungan yung contrast, sinira nung ating radiographic grid yung density. Inabsorb niya yung useful beam significantly kaya makakakita ka ng image pero ano siya underexposed due to excessive na removal ng useful beam ng grid due to improper positioning niya nga. Yan. So Let's go to motion artifact. So as you can see here, yung ating PHS, there is a blaring of pulmonary and mediastinal anatomy due to movement. So kung titingnan natin to, yung region na to, yung pasyente, possible na humihinga pa, humihinga siya na gumagalaw pa yung kanyang yung diaphragm along with the uh, pulmonary anatomies leading to significant flaring, though hindi lang siya masyadong ganun ka-appreciated dito. But you can see on the middle of the chest, dun sa mediastinal area, yan, medyo blurred. Kung i-compare mo dito sa, dito sa isang image, dito sa kanan, wherein the image now is properly exposed. So, ibig sabihin, nakatigil na talaga ng totally yung paghinga ng pasyente nung in-expose natin siya. So, mas sharp na yung mga shadow ng ribs, the heart outline, the cardiac silhouette is also more clear. And so, mas makakapag-produce ngayon yan ng mas maraming details about the condition of the patient. Compare dito na blurred, may mga pulmonary markings na nawawala, and they are being used by the radiologist in order to arrive with a proper diagnosis. Na kailangan kakausapin natin and bibigyan natin ng tamang instruction yung patient during the time of exposure. Kasi itong simpleng gumalaw lang siya ng konti, masisira yung quality ng image, pwede siyang ma-misdiagnose. But the best when it comes to mitigating this kind of artifact, always use the shortest possible exposure time. Wag mo nang patagalin pa yung exposure time, wag mo nang patagalin yung examination kasi there's tendency of discomfort, bigla na lang gumalaw yung patient. Lalo na kung ang pasyente nyo ay bata na mahirap pakiusapan. Shortest possible exposure time. Okay, then improper patient position. So mapapansin nyo dito, putol yung lung field. Costophrenic angle is very important. Yung mapapansin niyo dito, yung nasa gilid dito, yung region na yan, supposed to be dapat kita pa diyan ng costophrenic angle. So kapag ka ang costophrenic angle ay hindi kita, possible na kung meron diyang pleural effusion, merong nag-accumulate na fluid in the pleural cavity of the patient na yung pala yung iniinda niya, pwedeng ma-miss or hindi makakita. So kailangan i-center palagi yung anatomy to avoid cut-off. Yan. Saka mas ma-emphasize siya nung density ng ating film. Pagka kasi wala ka rin sa center, yung distribution ng attenuation ay pwedeng masira. Yan. So, kaya kailangan na properly position si patient. Okay, so next, wrong screen film match. So, spectral mismatching. So, yung sensitivity, halimbawa, itong si calcium tungstate blue emitting yan. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-partner sa sa may green sensitive film. So, pwede niyang sirain yung contrast or yung quality ng image. Same goes kapag dapat talaga, ang sa madaling salita dito, ang pinapakita niya, kung blue sensitive, blue emitting din. Pag green sensitive, it's better a green emitting films, rather intensifying screen. So that magkakaroon siya ng match. So, yung spectral matching at ma-maintain yung quality. Yan. So, kahit anong gawin mo diyan na na adjustment ng exposure factor, kung yan yung nangyayari, palaging poor yung contrast, poor yung quality ng image na mapoproduce mo. That's why you need to be aware of kung ano bang klaseng film yung nabili ng department and ano ba yung light emission ng ating intensifying screen. So pag alam mo na yung light emission ng intensifying screen, you will always request to purchase yung ganitong sensitivity ng film so that ma-avoid itong ganitong mismatch. So you need to be careful with this one kasi pala lahat ng film mo na gagamitin pagka ganito yung setup, may mismatch, sira yung quality niya. Okay, so double exposure pertains to may dalawang image na magkapatong. Kung mapapansin niyo dito, dalawa-dalawa yung kanyang clavicle. So yung pasyente sa anatomy niya, meron pang isang tiny image na present. So possible dito na expose ang dalawang beses yung yung anatomy na kinuhanan, or pwede rin na hindi na process yung film, yun din yung nagamit doon sa panibagong exposure. Kaya ayan, may dalawang image na nagpapakita. Ayan, mapapansin nyo dito. Ayan, so meron siyang hindi masyadong appreciated yung anatomy dahil meron pang mga may mga nakatapat pa sa kanyang other anatomy galing dun sa unang exposure. Ayan, so dito siya mas prominent. Okay, so pagka ganun, syempre uulitin. So automatically ulitin and make sure isang exposure lang talaga yung nagawa sa film. Then another one, we have the improper grid position. So dito, na mali yung pagkakapwesto ng grid leading to excessive grid cutoff. So here, there will be a change in density across the PHS, lalo kung maling pwesto ng ating grid yung nagawa mo during the examination. So upon the inspection of the imaging room, it was found that upright grid was turned upside down. So pagka ito yung pinakamahirap na magawa, nabaliktad mo yung yung radiographic grid. So yung dapat na nakababa, yun yung naipwesto mo sa ibabaw. So ang magiging cut off nun severe. So ito medyo maayos pa tong image na to. Yung kapag nagkaroon diyan ng inverted grid, sa gitna lang may density, sa gilid puro puti lahat. So yun, automatically uulitin mo siya. And make sure na sa pangalawang ulit mo tama na yung pagkakapwesto ng radiographic grid. So marami pa tong setup ng grid na to, like yung tamang position, kung focusing grid yung gamit mo, and make sure na kung moving grid naman, hindi pa sira yung kanyang drive mechanism. Kasi yung mga errors na yon, they might produce grid cutoff na masakit sa matang tingnan. Okay, so let's move naman dun sa mga processing artifacts. So ito na yung nilulubog na yung film sa iba't ibang chemicals. Mostly caused during film processing. An example nga by transport system, yan dun sa automatic processor natin. And they can be eliminated with proper processor QC program and frequently cleaning. Yan. So kaya dapat yung both manual and automatic processing, ini-inspect natin kung okay pa ba yung mga chemical. So hindi pa ba siya excessively exhausted or kailangan nang linisin yung mga processing tanks kasi may mga nagbi-build up ng dumi. Yan na pwedeng maging cause of this kind of artifacts, yung mga processing artifacts. Yan na example nga yan, emulsion pickup na tanggal yung portion ng emulsion ng film natin that syempre sa emulsion naka-record yung image, yung mababangas din yung mapitingas din yung image mo kasi yung kung saan siya mismo nakalagay na scrape off or na pick off yung emulsion. So pwede rin yung gelatin build up like sa automatic processor, nagiging cause yan ng maduming film na lumalabas. Curtain effect yung sa chemical fogging, masyadong mali yung conditions ng pagpaprocess like yung temperature, yung time ng pagka-immerse sa kanya, the guide shoe mark, yung may sira yung ating yung transport system particularly doon sa may transport trucks. Yan yung gina-guide yung film ng guide shoe mark. So baka nakalus na yon or nagko-cause ng scratches. Spy lines, yung rollers ang may problema diyan. Madumi siya. Kaya nagko-cause ng parang mga linyang interrupted. Yan. Pamaya may example yan and it's set up. It's with respect to the direction of the travel of the film. With pressure sensitization, yung film natin masyadong nabasa siya ng mali at nag-accumulate yung water sa maling region leading to abnormal appearance of watermark. And dichroic fog which is due to fixer. Yan yung sa chemical ng natin ng processing solution. Yun yung may problem. Okay, so isa-isahin natin sila. Roller marks, of course, when guide shoes are improperly positioned. So mali yung pagkaka-fix ng ating guide shoe doon sa transport tracks, doon sa turnaround assembly. So leading na magasgas niya. So every time na may dadaan sa kanyang film, ay nagagalusan niya yung surface ng film, particularly the emulsion. Kaya makakakita ka dyan yung parallel. Ang travel ng roll ng natin ng guide shoe, kapag guide shoe mark siya, parallel sa long axis ng film. So ito yung long axis ng film, ito 14/17 yan. So mapapansin nyo ay nasa long axis, running through parallel sa long axis. That is more likely gawa ng guide shoe. So nagasgasan niya. Okay, so another one, ito pa yung another appearance ng guide shoe marks. Okay, so ayan basta pagka-parallel yung continuous line na parallel along the long axis, yan guide shoe mark yung appearance niyan. So dapat iayos or kung sira na ipa-check yung guide shoe mark ng automatic processor natin para ma-avoid yung appearance niya in every film na pinaprocess. Okay, so moving forward, now let's talk about water stain. So pag sinabi nating water stain under the processing artifacts, ito yung water na trap within the emulsion of our film, resulting na kapag na-distort nila yung formation and density. So nagmukha siyang smudges. Kung mapapansin nyo, parang merong mga nagki-curve na na area dun sa film natin. Ang tawag diyan is water stain. And that water stain can interfere with proper diagnosis. Kaya kailangang i-repeat yung examination and yun, process again. And make sure na hindi masyadong na hindi masyadong nagdi-drip yung chemical. So kailangan mas magiging maingat ka pa kapag nilulubog mo na siya sa mga chemicals to avoid yung entrapment ng water that might cascade this kind of para siya nagwe-wave na nagwe-wave doon sa may natin, doon sa may emulsion. So, then pylines is another type of artifact. Unlike the natin, yung sa may guide shoe marks, si pylines, nakikita siya perpendicular doon sa direction of travel. At in direction of travel, papunta dito. So, naging perpendicular yung kanyang appearance and as you can see, interrupted. So, interrupted siya 3.1416 inch interval. So, denoting kasi yung unit ng, yung equivalent ng pi. Yan. So, yung circumference nung circular dimension ng ating rollers. Yan, kaya interrupted siya dito na black density. Yan, so possible to madumi yung natin, yung roller system. And so that is pi lines. Okay, so emulsion pick-up is caused by pulling a stock films apart. So yung mga films nagkadikit. So, halimbawa yung natin, yung films common sa automatic processor ano sila nagkasabay doon sa loob. So yung nag-overlap sila, so doon sa pagkaka-overlap habang nagta-transport upon separation, nagkaroon ng pagdidikit, tapos yung paghihiwalay ng pagkakadikit nila nag-cause na yung isa mabakbakan ng emulsion, and that will be a significant white appearance doon sa emulsion no, na natanggal yung appearance ng natin nung image na na-form. So kasi yung mismong emulsion kung saan siya nakalagay is nabakbak. Okay, so dichroic fog or the diachronic fog, yan. So this is due to mixing of developer with fixer. So yung nagkaroon ng contamination doon sa developer natin, possible may tumalsik na fixer. Nag-cause siya ng oxidation ng developer. And that is a big problem pagdating sa film processing, na kaya dapat maingat pagka tinatanggal na yung film sa fixer, kasi pag may tumalsik na fixer sa developer, i-overly oxidize niyan. That might exhaust that might exhaust the chemical and result to this kind of image formation. So kasi nagra-run down. So yan, nagra-run down yung natin, yung chemical, para siyang may curtain. So parang may cortina yung film natin pag tinitigan ng mabuti. So run down yung another name nito, dichroic fog. Okay, let's go naman dun sa groupings ng ating handling and storage artifacts. So, yung dahil sa maling paghawak ng film during loading or processing ng film, and also pagka hindi maayos yung condition ng darkroom kung saan naka-store yung natin, yung film. So bago pa man gamitin yung mga film, meron na silang mga damage due to improper or poor storage condition. So yan nga, caused by improper film storage condition. So yung mga pinag-usapan nating setup ng darkroom noon, yung tamang temperature, ventilation, yan, yun yung compromise. Kaya nag-result into formation of artifacts dun sa film na naka-store sa darkroom. So this might be due to increase in temperature or humidity, exposed to radiation, pressure marks, static or hyporetention. So pagka natin yung light or radiation na fog, so possible na yung dark room merong light leakage. So meron siyang mga butas or mga siwang na doon pumapasok yung liwanag. So every time na pumapasok yung light habang nagpa-process ka ng film, na nagki-create sila ng unwanted density. So pwede rin to na baka yung cassette, dahil mali yung stored. 'Di ba sabi dapat yung cassette naka-stored siya ng upright. So baka yung cassette natin na dahil sa maling pagkakapwesto, pagkaka-store, na UP na. So pumapasok yung mga liwanag during the nung pag nakalagay yung isang film na supposed to be dapat hindi na expose ng external light. Okay, so yan, pressure artifacts, again, pwedeng yung film, di ba sabi, dapat naka-store din siya ng upright katulad ng cassette. So yung pagkakapwesto nila, hindi pa pwedeng on top of each other. It should be vertically upright. Yan, para yung pressure brought by the weight of the film, hindi sila mag-cause ng ng artifact, specifically mga static build up that might create the pressure artifact appearance just like this one. Yan, ito rin itong ganitong appearance, aside from the storage of the film, pwede rin itong dahil sa pagkakaipit ng kamay sa daliri. So habang hawak-hawak yung film, pwedeng nagbent yan. So kaya minsan kink mark, pwede rin siyang ma-associate sa kink mark. So masyado mong parang papel na naipit masyado sa daliri mo yung film, kaya nag-result siya dun sa formation ng density na yan, yung unwanted density. So that sample din siya ng pressure artifacts. And so mga static artifacts due to build-up of electrons in the emulsion, like yung crown. So para siyang, syempre parang corona yung shape niya. Then smudge, yung para siyang cloud, and yung three branches like this one. And often associated sa static artifact pag masyadong mababa yung temperature saka yung humidity ng ating storage room for the X-ray film. Yan. So resulting nga into electron build-up. So yung mga nakikita nyo na yan na parang nagraradiate na mga black densities, those are brought by the static electrons that build up due to low temperature. Parang kapag ka sobrang lamig sa isang room, pansinin niyo pag yung sa yung room na naka-air condition na sobrang lamig na talaga, pag nadikit ka sa isang bagay or sa ibang tao, bigla ka na lang nakukuryente. That is a similar reason sa static build-up pagka sobrang mababa yung humidity and temperature sa storage room ng film natin. So pwede silang magkaroon ng ganyan, yung static artifact. So hyporetention, this is brought by or due to the buildup of residual thiosulfate appearing yellow on prolonged storage. So yung thiosulfate or tinatawag yung hyperretention, nasa fixer natin yan. So ang cause nito, hindi masyadong nahugasan yung X-ray film. So masyado mo siyang, or possible na hindi mo talaga nahugasan, or nung hinugasan mo saglit lang. So kaya yung minatira pang residue nung fixer, particularly yung galing sa fixing agent, yung ammonium thiosulfate. So yung thiosulfate na magre-react sa silver, so pwede siya mag-create nung yung silver sulfide na pag tumagal nagiging yellow stained. At dahil nga silver yung kanyang inaagaw dun sa film, and remember those silver are the reason kung bakit meron tayong image sa film. Kaya magpe-fade yung image natin, mawawala siya as the time goes by. So ang characteristic niyan, poor archival quality. Kaya ang solution dito, palaging huhugasan yung X-ray film ng maayos, or else pag tumagal siya, magpe-fade yung image. Hindi niya ma-attain yung storage time or storage duration na gusto natin para sa mga nagawang examination. Yeah. And that's wrap up our discussion for film screen imaging. So these artifacts are very important that we understand and we know how to mitigate them, because whenever they appear, they might interfere with proper diagnosis. At remember, misdiagnosis can cause danger to our patients. Yan so kaya kailangan na naiintindihan natin tong mga to. And that's all for our discussion. Thank you very much.
Okay, class, do you have any questions? May mga tanong kayo regarding dun sa lesson natin? May mga questions kayo? Do you have any particular questions regarding dun sa topic natin? Are you still there, class? Okay, so okay, so okay, so kung wala naman kayong questions or any clarification regarding the topic, so I'll be giving you our time na so that you can do any tasks on your end. So technically, this will be the last topic for the finals. So by next week, you're going to have your long quiz on me in preparation for your upcoming final examination. So sa final exam, I'm again uh, reminding you that ang coverage nun will be from prelims to finals. So kaya mag-start ng mag-aral ngayon pa lang so that by the exam, um, mas makakasagot kayo. So yun, so by next week, I'll be posting a quiz, a long quiz in preparation for your final exam. Okay, so yun, yung remaining time natin, use that to study, to review, or kung may mga task pa kayong kailangang i-comply. So, okay na everyone, you can have your breakfast na kung di pa kayo nagbe-breakfast. Okay na.